Morning all, welcome back to the channel. Right, I've brought you to what was Scott's Garage at Mytholmroyd, and it's an incident from around about 1:10 on the 26th of December 1989. My first Christmas down working from Ebden Bridge with me pal. Yeah, it was 1:10. We were due off at 2, so we parked up here just watching if anything went by. It was pretty uneventful, really. There weren't much about on the roads. Yeah, that was Scott's Garage. It's been rebuilt since. It was a petrol station and shop, and just behind me there's the Pink Pepper restaurant, which was the White Rose nightclub, which had a bit of a reputation in the Mytholmroyd area. Yeah, that was closed. Boxing Day, I think people were saving up the brass for New Year's Eve. So yeah, Christmas is sort of traditionally a bit of a quiet day for us. Yeah, we just sort of parked up. Spin round, show you where we are. That's Scott's Garage, what was, and I'll just show you the directions. That's back there, that's towards Ebden Bridge, and obviously the opposite directions towards Mytholmroyd. So there we were, parked up, just talking about Christmas, really. I had to laugh because my pal had phoned our house up Christmas Eve and spoke to me two girls, Kerry and Vicky, pretending to be Father Christmas, which were quite funny. Just this deep voice, "Oh, the little girls, what do you want for Christmas?" And I was there sort of biting my hand, trying not to laugh and give the game away. Then we just, as time went on, we were just talking about what were on Christmas Day on the telly. I'll tell you what it was. It was Crocodile Dundee, the first showing of Crocodile Dundee on the telly for Christmas. So we're just sort of talking about that and my sort of dream of going to Australia one day, which I still haven't. We had the windows down. It was raining a bit, but we had the windows slightly down so we could hear what was going on locally. It's quite a good spot actually, because we could. The noise sort of echoes all around this place, so it is a bit of a giveaway when the windows are down. Yeah, and then sort of in the distance, I just heard the faint sound of a car coming towards us from the direction of Ebden Bridge. It did seem to be giving it. The engine seemed to be screaming a bit. Then as it got to just past where the garage is, there's a sports ground, football pitch, and basically we heard it getting closer and closer. Excuse me. And then as it passed us, I just saw a number of white faces looking towards us. The engine dropped. You could hear the gear dropped to try to increase speed, and off it went. The mate said, "Oh, I think we'll have a look at that." So he sparked up the engine and basically stuck it in reverse instead of first, and we stalled. The engine stalled. There was a bit of swearing, so eventually we got the car started again, pulled out onto the road. And then where that car's just going now, they'd head towards the direction of travel. To be honest, I just thought, well, the rate of knots that car were going, I'd say 40, and increased speed as it went. Obviously, they didn't want us stopping it. So what we thought, well, we're just going through the motions here. We'll give it a whirl. I think one of us radioed through to control to see if anybody were about in the area to assist in stopping this car. But unfortunately there wasn't. I think our nearest backup was, they were up at top of Rishworth. I think the car had come off the road up at Rishworth. So yeah, on we went. Yep, so we carried on. We tried, we're increasing our speed really to try and catch up with it. Oh, that's the fire station there behind us. And we just carried on the road. Like I say, we didn't really think we were going to catch up with this car. It was going that bloody fast. And yeah. Right, and by this time we just come to the Pelican Crossing at in the middle of Mytholmroyd. Just about to go negotiate the bend, which takes into the, well, it's like where most of the shops are. There's the post office. That's the post office. Well, it was the post office. There's a few shops opposite there. Went past what was the Spa, coming up towards the Dusty Miller pub. I said there was nobody about, and we didn't. The car could have turned off anywhere. It didn't. It could have gone on Caldine. It could have gone over New Road, off up towards Cragvale. Yeah, could have gone up to, could have turned off and gone up to Cragvale. But as we came round the corner, there was like a central reservation there in the middle of the road where the traffic lights are. You see the traffic lights, and then there just seemed to be this black oblong shape thing in the middle of the road. We couldn't really work out. It didn't really sink in what it was until we got closer, and it was what was a car. So we both pulled up, put the blue flashing lights on, ran towards the shape in the road, and to our horror, it was the Marina, the Morris Marina car. It was just a scene of devastation. The thing I saw, it seemed to be in half. The car had been cut in half, and basically we set to try to deal with the casualties. Excuse me. I ran to the driver's side of the car, or what was the car. Basically, the driver, his injuries were that bad. He wasn't moving, and I won't go into it. But he was. I think he was past. I think he was past caring. Really, I think he'd gone. And made my way around to the front, looked in, the front seat passenger, he was unconscious. But when I looked inside, his right, I think it was his right hand was on the driver's seat. It looked to be totally detached from the rest of his arm. My mate were radioed through for help. He was dealing with another casualty, and then I went round to the rear near side, and there were a chap underneath the vehicle, what was left of it, near the rear wheel. He was in a bad way. He was sort of fighting for breath, and struggling there. So basically I had to administer whatever first aid I could to clear his airway. And it just seemed to, time seemed to stand still. We just sort of did what we could really. We'd call for the fire and the ambulance teams to arrive, which it just seemed to take an age. We did what we could for the casualties, and I looked around, and there were a chap just sort of looking sort of bewildered and shocked, and basically I just said, "Did you see what happened?" He said, "Yeah, I was in it." He was in the rear seat, middle of the rear seat. So that he looked obviously in a state of shock. He was just wandering around, just looking at the scene like we were. I just noticed there was somebody a bit further on the road there, where that Reed's Range sign is there. There were a couple. We just saw a couple milling around, and I asked them, "What did you see? What happened?" And they were in just shock too. The lad just said, "Yeah," he said, "we were basically we were just stood in the doorway having a kiss and a cuddle. Next thing, we just showered with glass. There was a loud bang, and we were showered with glass." So that they were just people like wandering around in shock with it all. But what they did say, this couple, what the chap did say, that they were stood where that beauty place is there. That was Barclays Bank. He said they were stood there on that by that wall there, just having a kiss and a cuddle. He said, and then it started to rain, so they moved a bit further on and stood in a shop doorway to shelter from the rain while they were kissing and cuddling. He said the next thing, he said they just heard this bang, and when they looked out, there were, well, obviously there's this car in the middle of, well, what was a car in the middle of the road. Now what they're saying is it looked like where the traffic lights are there was like a little sort of central reservation thing. They've come round the corner at speed, hit the central reservation, and then bounced across and hit the wall. There's still some marks there where the car hit the wall, and it's bounced back into the road. It must have hit it with such force, because when I managed to have another look at the car, the chassis was in half. It just cut the thing in half. So yeah, we got the full shooting match there. We got the ambulance and the fire crew. The road traffic units arrived from Halifax and they took over. And basically we just carried on with the investigation on how it had happened. The lad was pronounced dead dead at the scene, and because it was classed as a death, I had to escort the lad up to Royal Halifax Infirmary. We got there and the staff sort of took over, and then it was quite surreal really, because my dad was a porter up there, and out of nowhere my dad suddenly arrived and just said, "Are you all right, son?" And he just, yeah, it's been a bit of a bad one. So that was it really. We did what we had to do up at up at Halifax Infirmary, and then I was back at the Nick with my pal doing the statements, and it was you've got such a lot of things to do. It sort of takes over. It's just like it's like clockwork really. You just crack on with what you need, what needs doing for the file and things, the statements and pocketbooks and other bits and pieces. And it was like 8:30 Boxing Day morning when we finally got off. We were supposed to finish at 2, but it was 8:30. I got straight home. Everybody was still in bed when I got back home, so I had a quick cup of tea and made my way upstairs to bed. Finally, I sort of fell asleep more or less straight away. But then, within, I'd say 20 minutes or so, bang! I was bloody wide awake again, going through the scene, going through what we'd come across. It's a bit of a strange one, really. I mean, in those days, there was no such thing as sort of therapy or anything like that. There's nobody coming out to say, how did you feel and all the rest. We basically just talked it through amongst us, between ourselves, when we got back on duty that following night. My pal said he had problems sleeping as well, so it weren't just me. It is a thing that emergency workers end up having to deal with, and it does take its toll. As the week went on, we were still on 6-2 evenings. We didn't really have anything as bad as that for the rest of the week. The only thing that did cheese me off a bit, and of course my pal as well, we were parked up again at Scott's garage, coming to the end of the shift. It was quite a popular place to stop. Just sort of seeing what goes by. You never know. It's just you might get the odd OPL, like drink driver, and as we were just sort of parked up there was a bit of shouting and bawling and people wandering around saying it was. I think they may have been friends or relatives of the folk who had been involved with the accident. They were shouting and bawling and saying that it was us that were chasing them and we'd caused the accident, and it was just absolute baloney. But you can't really explain to people, especially if they're in drink. You just get into an argument with drunks. You're not gonna win. So I say that really did cheese me off to some degree. It were a shocking incident, and it does sort of affect you. At the time, and probably a few years later too. So that was it. I think my pal ended up going to coroner's court to give evidence there of what we found at the scene. Right, fast forward till I think it was about July, August this year, which is 2025. I was doing my security job at Dean Clough when I actually bumped into the lad who'd had his hand severed due to the accident. He said he didn't know anything about us turning up. He's obviously unconscious, but they managed to sew it back on, sew the hand back on. Chap called Garth Clayton, he's a bit of a pal of mine now, so we sort of stood there chatting and going through what had happened back in December '89. So Uh, we do see each other now and again, just wave and nod and have a bit of a chat. But yeah, he's yeah, he's a nice guy actually. What he said was that they'd been drinking in Woodman pub, which is now closed down. It's on the way. It's just on the way to Todd by Charlestown. It's all sort of collapsing now. So, but they were in there for a Christmas sort of drink. And then when they set off, he was in the back. He was in the back seat. But when the lad got out from the front seat, they pulled up to let him have a pee. So when he got out, he jumped in front seat, and the other lad had to get in the back. He said that it's all fate. It's all fate, really. You know, if that hadn't have happened, it'd probably been him that had been in a worse state, if you can get in a worse state, and getting your hand sort of cut off. Right, so that was it. So I'll leave it with you now. I'll get back to you shortly with some more of my little stories from the days in the police. I'm just sort of going through book one at the moment. So anything else, I'll do another video for you. So all right then. Have a good day. Looks like the leaves are falling here, so autumn's on its way. Let you have a look at that tree over there. Some lovely colours. Right then, I'll see you again, and take care of yourself. See you in a bit. Bye.